Well, it's exactly a week after the December 7 general elections here in Ghana. So that makes today the 14th day of December 2024. Good evening. Welcome to News Tonight here on GHOne television. And coming up this evening, Electoral Commission declares parliamentary results for Dom Kwabinyam, Okaikwe Central, Ablekuma North and Tema Central constituencies illegal and unable to be upheld. Also, a week ago, Ghana went to the polls to cast a historic vote. We are the EIB network. Take a look at the good, the bad, and the in-between as we bring you thrilling reports on Election Hub. In business this evening, Dean of UCC Business School urges incoming government to focus on food inflation to spur economic growth. And to some news on the foreign front, South Korean lawmakers impeach president over martial law attempt. But the details of these and more in this package, they can stay with me. We'll be right back. For your company this evening, welcome aboard Ghana's most comprehensive news analysis program, News Tonight, here on GHOne television. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Now the details, and the Electoral Commission has declared the parliamentary results for Dom Kwabinya, Okaikwe Central, Ablekuma North and Tema Central constituencies illegal and unable to be upheld. Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission in charge of operations made this announcement during a press briefing in Accra on Friday night. Now, Samuel Tete explained that 3 of the 12 constituencies requiring recollation of parliamentary results have been successfully completed, and the 3 include Suhum, Akwetia, and Fantiakwa North. However, recollation is yet to take place in the Ahafo-Ano Southwest, Ahafo-Ano North, Obuasi East, and Techiman South constituencies. Now, listen to Samuel Tete addressing the media and also make the point that the results for the constituencies that were earlier mentioned, including Dom Kwabinya, were made illegally.
Out of the 12 constituencies requiring recollation of parliamentary results, 3 have been completed. The 3 constituencies where collation has been successful are Suhum, Akwetia, and Fantiakwa North. Recollation is yet to take place in the following constituencies, namely Ahafo-Ano Southwest, Ahafo-Ano North, Obuasi East, and Techiman South. It is imperative to note that the recollation in the following constituencies, namely Domi Kwabinya, Okaikwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies, did not follow lay-down processes as enshrined in CI 127. Despite police presence at the collation centers to enable the commission staff undertake the recollation, the centers were again besieged by party supporters who took over the process and forced our staff to declare results of their preferred candidates. In all 4 instances, the processes enshrined in CI 127 were not followed, and our officers were threatened to declare winners without following the laid-down processes and procedures required for collation. It is therefore the conclusion of the Commission that the collation and declarations which did not follow laid-down procedures are illegal and cannot be upheld by the Commission, since the processes for collation and declaration as set out in CI 127 were violated and not followed.
So that's Nsawam-Adoagyiri. He is a deputy EC chairperson, also talking to us about why the EC believes that the declaration in those 4 constituencies were illegal. Let's get some reaction to that. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of Elections and IT of the NDC, and he has joined me via Zoom to have a conversation on this. Doc, thank you so much for joining me. So as it stands now, I know clearly that you and together with some party stalwarts were at the Regional Coalition Center. In fact, you were at Tesano to ensure that the right thing was done. As it stands now, the EC says the declaration in these 4 constituencies, which were declared in the favor of your PCs, was done illegally. How do you respond to that?
My brother, let me say good evening to your cherished viewers and you yourself. And let me make it very clear to the commissioners. It does not lie in their mouth to tell us that the declaration were made were illegal and did not follow due process. They are not judges. They cannot constitute themselves to judges. Those who have the mandate, the power to declare an election or a declaration null and void is the High Court, not the commissioners. They should stop this kind of thing that they are doing. Their biases and the hypocrisy of their actions is becoming one too many. Let me tell you, due process can be found under Regulation 43 of CI 127. They should have mentioned that. Why didn't he mention the enabling regulation under CI 127? How is collation done? Presiding officers will present their pink sheets to the returning officer. The returning officer under Regulation 43 is to assemble all these pink sheets from various polling stations and put the results in the collation form and subsequently put it on the summary sheet. Based on that, if he's satisfied with the collation, having added all these pink sheets together, that is the procedure. Then he can now declare. In the process of his declaring, if you are not satisfied with the collation, you can ask for recollation at that point. Then he will now do another recollation, go through the figures one after the other. Then you declare. If you are not satisfied with the declaration, then you can now proceed to court. But he cannot finish his declaration, then you will now move out, go and get some crooked officers, sit down and say due process was not followed. And therefore they should do a recollation. Let me give you an example.
Okay,
in 2020, we have problems with Techima South. You remember what happened in Techima South, where people were killed. The collation was not properly done. Our minority group in parliament then, led by Honorable Hammond, wrote to Madam Mensah seeking for recollation of Techima South resource. This was her response. Under point 13 of her response to our leaders was this: recollation can be done at all levels when requested before declaration of resource. I repeat, before declaration of resource. However, once election results have been declared, a dissatisfied party cannot request for a recollation. Listen, once election results have been declared, a dissatisfied party cannot request for a recollation or recount of the results. What has changed? Is it not the same electoral commission who wrote this to us?
But Doc,
what are they doing
when you listen to Nsawam-Adoagyiri, he talks about 2 main things: attacks and then intimidation of their officers, for which reason they feel that led to the declarations that were made, which now he says, or the commission says, are illegal.
My brother, all these constituencies he mentioned, there were policemen and military men standing there when the declarations were made. There were policemen there. When the declaration was made, Techima South, they killed people. That one, they were shooting, shot 8 and killed 8 people over there. Did they do any recollation at that point? This one, all the areas he mentioned, has any life has been lost over there. When people are killed, that one, they don't see anything wrong with that. That one, they accept the declaration and told us that so long as declarations were made, the only option left for us to go to court. Today, this thing he's talking about, nobody was even injured there. Policemen were standing there with military men when the declarations were made.
But they talk about intimidation. Intimidation and attacks.
Are
Yes.
they judges to define intimidation? Are they judges to define intimidation? Let the court decide it. They have been using words like duress. They did that under duress.
Right.
And we say it doesn't lie in their mouth. Who defined duress here? When they send people to Tesano Police Depot, training center, full of policemen and even send more military men even join there. How do you describe such an environment? I'm asking you, how do you define it? They should stop that kind of thing they are doing. Their biases are becoming too many. We are not going, look, the NDC, we have put notice to them that those constituencies where we won fairly, 7 of them, we won fairly and were declared winners by the returning officers of those constituencies. We are not going to accept any recollection whatsoever. And we have served notice to them.
Right.
They shouldn't try that thing.
So now
We are not going to accept it.
Okay, so now that the EC says the declarations were made illegally and they've actually held a press conference to tell us this, what's the way forward for the NDC?
They should be dismissed. The way forward is that we are dismissing it with the contempt it deserves. Those people elected from those constituencies they've mentioned will be sworn in Parliament. We are not going to accept any recollection. I said we have their response to us. 2020 response is still fresh. And I've read it to you. This was signed by Madam Mensah herself,
right,
who stated that so long as declaration has been made, they will not do any recollection. They appointed the returning officers and they did the declarations. So they shouldn't come back and tell us that it was made illegal. Otherwise, all the seats they've done in the stronghold of MPP, we will ask them to bring it back and we'll do recollection. They were done under duress. That's how we also define it to them. And they will bring it back. And we'll see whether we'll have MPs in Parliament in the next Parliament coming. What are they talking about? They should stop that kind of hypocrisy. We know they want to help the MPP to show up their numbers. It won't happen. Hello?
Is the Christmas
Thank you so much for staying on with us here on News Tonight on GH1 television. So we've just gone by a conversation with Dr. Rashid Tanko of the NDC, clearly telling us that, well, they are also sending a word of caution to the EC on their decision to declare some 4 constituencies that have been declared already as being done illegally. But let's get a perspective from the governance perspective basically on this matter. Dr. Frederick Kodjo has joined us on the phone lines now. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. So here we are. I remember during our coverage, we sat in this very studio, had a conversation, and one of the things you were surprised was when the NDC told supporters to get to the collation centers. You described it as a recipe for disaster. Now, looking at how the things have turned, EC says those declarations made in those constituencies, those 4 constituencies, are illegal. Does that surprise you?
I'm not surprised in the least. And I'm very saddened that some people think they've taken this country hostage. It's so unfair, and it has marred the beauty of an otherwise very excellent election. Just because people believe they can use brute force, they believe they can use intimidation, they believe they are above the law, they believe it is what they want. You see, we've had a beautiful election. The NPP has generally lost fair and square. The EC should have been allowed to do its job and would have avoided so many unnecessary things. The deaths, the destruction, the looting, the violence, all those things are so unnecessary. You've won an election. Why wouldn't you allow the right thing to be done? Why? I mean, is this country under siege? I mean, nobody is a freedom fighter and nobody is a liberator. We went into a democratic election. We used law. The process happening, our elections are governed by law, from the constitution to the various laws, as well as the regulations, the CI, and even policy documents that the EC has prepared based on experiences they've had over the years. Why are we not allowing the process to work? But we think we can use brute force. That is the cause of what we have. Right. And I think there must be a criminal investigation into this whole thing. Because even inciting people to violence is against the law. So if we are a serious country, people must go to jail for inciting other people to go out there and besiege the collation center. In which of our laws do we permit party supporters to go to collation centers?
So you say...
This is a sense of the problem we have.
Right.
It's so unnecessary.
So all of this began when the party supporters, both of the MPPA and the NDC, besieged the collation centers. Right.
And we knew that the parties had collected their so-called pink sheets from the polling centers, and they were collating it. And the parties knew where they won and where they have lost. So let me tell you, why did Vice President Bawumia accept defeat on the morning of the 8th of December? This was this was less than 24 hours after the election. But there was a concession. Because the political parties were able to take their pink sheets from the polling stations and forward it to their collation centers. Why wouldn't we allow the Electoral Commission to do the same by allowing the returning officer to gather all the polling station, pink sheets, collect it from the various presiding officers? Because people went and started attacking them. People were even telling I don't know whether they don't understand the process or what. People were saying they had brought fresh ballot papers to count at the collation centers. Do they count ballot papers at the collation centers?
Interesting.
So when leaders, people do not show leadership, when they do not show that indeed this is how the process is, and tell their people, please leave us to do this. Because what was needed, the needful thing was to police the ballots at the polling station and let the ballots be declared at the polling station. What was the need for asking party supporters to follow up to the collation centers? What was the need for that?
Okay. Well, Doc, so as it stands now, EC says that the declarations that were made in those constituencies are illegal, cannot be upheld. The NDC says that cannot be the case because CI 127 really does not show that, well, people must not really led to any form of illegality. And so they believe that it is the courts that has the power to declare those elections or declarations illegal and not the EC. But the EC has taken that position.
All of us say we don't trust the court, isn't it? We all say we don't trust the court. Let us go ahead. For me, I would say the party should allow us to go. And then in the next election, we should brace ourselves for the violence from all the political parties. Is that what we want in this country?
Party should allow this to go? How?
So the NDC said, I heard Dr. Tanko.
Yes.
He's been leading this charge. Let the NDC go ahead. They've won the election. They've taken the whole country captive. They can do whatever they want. Let them go ahead, declare themselves the victors. And then in the next election, we'll see the violence we face in this country.
So you believe that
this is where I get angry.
Right.
That there are people in this country who should tell the truth to people and are afraid to tell the truth.
Okay.
Why are we putting ourselves through this?
Well, Doc, thank you.
Who hasn't accepted the NDC has won this election?
Doc, thank you.
So let Dr. Tanko and his team take control of the country. Let them run the next election. Let them go ahead. Already they started talking about starting the EC chair because she delayed in announcing the election. They can go. She's only a woman. They can just throw her out of her office. Let them bring in their own people. And in the next election, we will all see what will happen in this country.
Thank you so much for engaging with us, Dr. Frederick Kodjo, governance analyst there. Now, parliamentary candidate for the NPP in Nsawam-Adoagyiri, Frank Anodompre, has rubbished the injunction by the NDC seeking a restraining order against the EC from collating and declaring the December 7 parliamentary elections. The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for that constituency, Amenope Philbeth Fume, filed an action at the High Court in Accra, raising concerns about the integrity of the process, including incomplete pink sheets. Now, earlier, there was tension at the Tesano Police Training School where party representatives clashed with the security and electoral officers over disagreements of the collation process for the Nsawam-Adoagyiri parliamentary elections. Obed Kingaglo reports.
All right, so what you are seeing currently as police trying to drag an NDC party agent out over some disagreement he had with an MPP agent, and so that's what's currently happening over here. The police is trying to ensure law and order here inside the coalition center, and so the police is trying to drag him out of the place, and we see that the General Secretary of the MPP, Justin Kodjo Frimpong, trying to escort the MPP agent. We are still here. We'll be engaging more people here in the center about why there is confusion here about the process.
We will not accept it. It is illegal. It is illegal because it is the returning officer that must declare. The returning officer was the one who declared on the grounds in the constituency in Fantiakwa. The assistant to the returning officer was the one who declared here. So over here, it is null and void. We don't care about that. But we are just sounding this warning. It shouldn't be like a trend where they think they will bring us here and bully us.
We started the process, and usual of them raising issues that are not, relevant and germane to the coalition. It's just, you can see, it's a rehearsed strategy just to delay and not to allow the EC to pronounce on the result. It's most unfortunate, but we, in all these matters, we will defer to the EC because We run a number of elections. This is the first time. The EC should be able to put its feet down and be firm.
We see members of the National Democratic Congress also still here, waiting for the process to continue. Let me try and engage some of them who are still here. We see Hannah Bisu here, who is the women organizer of the party.
We want the right thing to be done. It's not because we are struggling for seats. If we've won, we've won. If we've not won, no. But we are not going to allow them to cheat us out. And those ECs conniving with them. And the CID here, she is the National Women's Organizer of the MPP.
We've heard your members executive describe her.
Exactly, because when you get physical, when you get the phone, it's the is she insulting Woyome.
Afarijan ordered for a rerun of 10. What Mensah can do under these circumstances is order for a rerun, but he cannot come over here and produce pink sheets that nobody know about and come here for tallying. We will not allow that. As a political party, we will not allow that. It's an illegality.
We are told that there's been an injunction placed on the process. We want to find out why there is an injunction.
The EC has a remedy. What is the remedy? You can go to court for an order to set aside that declaration. You cannot come back. That the returning officer for the presidential election is GHOne Mensah. She has done the official declaration. She cannot come back and seek to change that declaration that has been done. So if anybody feels that the person did it under duress or whatever, the person has a remedy. Go to the High Court for the High Court to set aside that decision.
Well, in every campaign season, as witnessed in Ghana's 4-year electoral cycle, much is said about the candidates in the race. Now, some statements are humorous, others are provocative, and a few are outright contentious. But must everything be said at any cost? Well, here's how Emmanuel Ejabin captures the notion posterity will be the judge of it all.
I want to be able, on the 7th of January 2025, to go to Black Star Square in Accra and hand over the baton of government to the next MPP presidential candidate.
Theatrics, political banter, a grasp of strategy, or share allegiance. What does it all mean?
NDC paying for say yantiase say me say to me jamachi emma won na fofo won ejimi wachi ye bibia me ye betu yantimachi aja o oni ba be betu we konwa no so afi na me ba be bo no ba be sira konwa no so emba so na emba so kira.
He wasn't alone in sparking debates.
The say ya be MPP party ya ba be mu see ya ba be dina platform so me e the power am NDC Efida.
Then it escalated.
I have had cause to beat my chest and say that we are going to win these elections at all costs.
And if you don't win, we should cut off your head.
Yes.
Do you so stand by it?
Oh yes.
Said Mahama, and we need this election here. I'm telling you this. Live studio, Ghana phone na ebeshe.
Was there reliance on signs here? Perhaps.
We are not going to allow the NDC to win, and the MPP, we are going to win this 2024 by air, by land, by sea. We are going to win it by fire, by thunder. We are winning. How we have brought Ghana economy to this stage, don't you think MPP will sit down and plan how to win election 2024?
And rightly so, because we had to revisit this classic moment.
That's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. I hope you will allow me to withdraw that statement.
Ultimately, the people's verdict prevailed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency GHOne Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana with a total percentage of 56.55%. Congratulations, sir. It is finished. Thank you very much.
Onipa, miba mi betu no wakonya no so no. A bibia me ya no so enya no fe.
With the MPP losing the election, the transition team is now in place. In a striking turn, President Akufo-Addo, once resolute in his stance, has pledged his unwavering commitment to a peaceful handover of power.
I'd like to assure both of them of the full support of my government and myself for an effective transition. Today, we reaffirm our collective resolve to adhere to the letter and spirit of this act and ensure that this transition proceeds seamlessly, transparently, and with dignity.
Perhaps in the end, posterity isn't just the judge, it's the compass guiding the nation forward.
Well, Emmanuel Ijabe with that one there. Well, let's talk about GHOne Dramani Mahama, because his political journey has been one of resilience and determination. So from his unexpected rise to the presidency in 2012 to his hard-fought campaigns in 2016 and 2020, Mahama's story is one of comebacks. And in 2024, after two failed attempts, he triumphed in a landslide victory, securing both the presidency and a commanding two-thirds majority in parliament. Now, with the nation behind him, GHOne Mahama prepares to return to the helm in 2025, proving that sometimes the third time really is the charm. GHOne News' Elik Plim Awuku has more.
I, GHOne Dramani Mahama, do in the name of the Almighty God swear. Do in the name of the Almighty God swear. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
In an all-black outfit, GHOne Dramani Mahama stood at the podium in Parliament, Bible in hand, ready to take the oath of office. Just hours earlier, his title had been Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. But following the demise of President John Evans Atta Mills earlier that day, he had no other choice than to take over the affairs of the country. A visibly shaken Mahama repeated the words spoken to him by Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Woods, the first female Chief Justice of Ghana, as he took the oath of office.
I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana. That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana. And that I will preserve. And that I will preserve. Protect. And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. So help me God.
On the night of 23rd July 2012, GHOne Mahama went to bed as Vice President. By the morning of 24th July, he still held that position. However, by the end of that day, he would be sworn in as President of the Republic. Then came December and the 2012 presidential election. Mr. Mahama won a new term with 50.7% of the vote, marking his first time being elected president. You could say his 5-month stint at the Flagstaff House was a crash course that paid off.
I, GHOne Dramani Mahama,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
And allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
But 2016 told a different story. Despite holding a comfortable lead, Mr. Mahama and the NDC were ousted from power. The baton was passed to Nana Akufo-Addo and the New Patriotic Party, who after 3 attempts finally claimed the presidency.
I'll allow history to be the judge of how I have served my nation. How well I have done my part in running my lap of that relay. What that verdict will ultimately be, I cannot say. I can only say that I have done my best, giving my all, and done so with the best of intentions for my God and my country.
This was John Mahama's first failed bid to retain the presidency. In 2020, Mr. Mahama challenged President Akufo-Addo for a second time, but was defeated once again. However, in 2024, what has come to be known as the Green Wave swept through. On his third attempt, John Dramani Mahama obliterated his opponent, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Yes, obliterated. Because tell me how the former president returned with 56% and some of the votes cast, while his party secured a 2/3 majority in parliament. Talk of a landslide.
I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
But Mr. Mahama is not the first president to succeed on their third attempt. The late Professor John Evans Atta-Mills only became president after contesting in the 2000 and 2004 elections, finally succeeding in 2008. Similarly, President Akufo-Addo was unsuccessful in 2008 and 2012, but finally became president in 2016, and then securing a second term in 2020.
The least that I can do is to work hard in order to help all of us achieve a better Ghana.
I, Nana Akufo-Addo, having been elected to the high office of President of the Republic of Ghana,
having been elected to the high office of the President of the Republic of Ghana,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
To the Republic of Ghana.
to the Republic of Ghana,
As by law established.
as by law established,
That I will uphold
that I will uphold
the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
And that I will preserve.
So, what is it about the number 3? Is it true?
Eric Plimauko with that story there. Now, this man called youth empty coconut heads. He never shied from voicing his controversial stance on issues. Adansi Asqua Member of Parliament Kwabena Tahiru Hammond is our focus in this post-election special. Tutu Adanso takes a look at his journey till he eventually takes a bow.
Who will agree with me if I say Ghanaian youths have empty coconut heads? One man world. Kwabena Tahiru Hammond.
Asamba ne yesi yekwa kampa ye ya yesi yekwa kokun abrewa yanka se yekwa hu mono na muguo na muti aye yesi gobe na muguo no nyamu ne yesi yekwa hu mu yesi yekwa kokun abrewa.
Katie Hammond, as he is popularly called, is a Ghanaian politician and a member of parliament for the Adansi Asqua constituency. But he isn't just a politician, he is a disciplinarian.
I don't appreciate when members are on their feet and contributing, other members walking out of the floor. So keep an eye on those who have been leaving the place. Let them come back, and so we can continue.
A generous man.
You can have 12 minutes. You can have 12 minutes. When you do the 10, you can have extra 2 if you want the extra 2.
And above all, the people's person. Obnatahiru Hammond, popularly known as Katie Hammond, has been the face of Adansi Asokwa in Parliament since 2005, representing his constituency on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. A figure larger than life, he is known for his sharp tongue, humor, and no-nonsense demeanor.
Are you not coming to Parliament? Are you not coming to Parliament? Yes, again. Now you are talking. No. But Parliament is that.
Katie Hammond's journey in politics spans over 2 decades. During his time, he held notable roles, including Deputy Minister of Energy and the Minister for Trade and Industry. In his time in Parliament, he even had the unique privilege of chairing the House, albeit for a day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to
wait a minute. I think it shouldn't be Mr. Speaker. Describe me by any other name, not the Mr. Speaker.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Member Presiding.
Welcome to the House, the Honorable Minority Leader, the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader. You missed out on the show. I am sitting in the chair.
The just-ended 2024 general election brought his long parliamentary career to an unexpected halt. After nearly 2 decades of service, Katie Hammond failed to retain his seat, a development that has left many Ghanaians wondering about the void he leaves behind in the lawmaking house.
He has never been part of this constituency.
Without a doubt, it is his humor. Katie Hammond's unfiltered remarks and lively personality have earned him a reputation as the Josh Too Funny of Ghana's parliament.
21 of the recoveries were discovered under the period, and I'm very proud.
I am pleading that we will take the Highways Authority to court.
But while some may be writing his political obituary, Katie Hammond isn't conceding defeat just yet. Reports suggest that he may head to court to contest the election results. As the curtains fall on Katie Hammond's parliamentary journey, one thing is certain: Ghana's parliament will be a little less colorful without him. For GHOne News, Tutu Adamso.
So definitely the 9th Parliament will definitely miss Katie Hammond. What is the business now on the bulletin? Now, Professor of Economics and the Dean of Business School at the University of Cape Coast, Professor John Gachi, is impressing on the incoming government to focus more on mitigating food inflation and avoid being misinformed about economic recovery. According to him, one such narrative is the claim that the economy has recovered to pre-COVID levels. He indicates that it has been central to the 2024 campaign, and the President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, reiterated it at the first meeting of the transition team, aiming to create the impression of a sound economy being handed over to the new administration. However, this is at odds with warnings from government statistician who cautions that unless growth numbers are sustained, their impact on citizens who are the real owners of the economy will remain negligible. Well, you're still watching News Tonight here on GH1 Television with me, Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Let's go for a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Well, you're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne television. It's time to bring you the latest in the world of. Good evening.
Good evening, Kodjo. All right, so obviously it's the big weekend today and tomorrow as well. Accra Hatsufok taking on Kumasi Asante Kotoko, but this time around it's going to be at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Tomorrow is the big clash. We call it the Super Clash here in Ghana, and it's going to be the 115th time these two are meeting. Well, our cameras were at the Nima chapter, old musical chapter here in Accra, and we sampled views of some members of the group. All right, so Pando Hearts of Lions, however, have also leapfrog onto the start of the Premier League season. They've leapfrogged. They are now topping the Ghana Premier League after they won their game today. And so Pando Hearts of Lions are currently on top of the Ghana Premier League. But tomorrow is the big game. Accra Hearts of Oak will be away in Kumasi, taking on Kumasi Asante Kotoko at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. We sampled views of some members of the musical chapter O at Nima.
But this time around, if you look, if what I saw the last time at the camp and the players, their determination shows clearly that they are going for a war. And when you are ready for a war, definitely you come up victorious. And inshallah, with the chapter we'll prepare that tomorrow it will be our day. And inshallah, we are going to beat Kotoko today. We are going to use Kotoko to celebrate the Xmas tomorrow. So I'm signing this to them. I'm telling them, and I'm also urging all phobia fans, that they shouldn't worry. Looking at the performance of the players and then the team now, we're going to get one goal from Mauli Wayo and then Hamza. So I'm calling on all Ghanaians from Kumasi, phobia fans at Kumasi and then Accra. Myself, I will be at Kumasi tomorrow. So I'm calling on all phobia fans to come, because tomorrow we are going to show Kotoko that yes, we are the masters of the game.
Right, so that's the game coming up tomorrow at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Now to Pando Hearts of Lions, also remember they've moved on top of the Ghana Premier League table after beating current champions Samatex FC 1-0 in a breathtaking game in Samraboy. Striker Nana Kwame Opong scored the only goal for them in the game.
Therefore, the expectations the highest point of our league, and therefore the expectations are very, very high. We believe that they will deliver, they will give us good football, enjoy our game. Those who go to the stadium to watch the match will not come home sad. They will enjoy good football, irrespective of what the fans expect. I strongly believe that both teams are good, have done well. Has in the last few matches have shown great quality of their game, and the Hearts fire is coming back. I think slowly they found their form. Kotoko somehow struggled a bit, few matches here and there they lost, but I think they're okay now. Whoever will dominate the midfield is the key. Whoever will dominate that midfield of play can go ahead and win the match. If you talk of form, who's in a better form, has Kotoko, you cannot really talk about form. Who is in good shape, who is in good form. But however, I think Hearts is doing well. Kotoko, like I said, from the last matches that they've lost, they are back again. So you cannot really tell that they are not in good shape. They are, and so we expect a very good match. And so I urge everybody to go. The fans of Kotoko, fans of Hearts of Oak, to go and support their various clubs, and definitely we will enjoy a good football match.
All right, so that was C.K. Akono, former coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko and former coach, obviously, of Hearts of Oak. He's handled both teams already, and who better to speak about this game? Well, the game is upcoming tomorrow at the Barbarian Sports Stadium. And also remember, the big one in the English Premier League is Manchester City taking on Manchester United tomorrow. All the updates here in our subsequent bulletins. Thanks. This was here on News Tonight.
Thanks, Joel, for bringing us the latest news in the world of sports. Let's now bring you what's happening on the foreign front. South Korean lawmakers have voted to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol over his failed attempt to impose martial law, which sparked massive protests across the country. He was suspended after some members of Yoon's own People Power Party voted with the opposition, though the decision still needs to be ratified by the Constitutional Court. Now, thousands of protesters gathered in Seoul on Saturday, braving the cold, to call for Yoon to resign ahead of the vote, which was passed by 204 lawmakers, with 85 voting against it. Thousands of anti-Yoon protesters celebrated outside the National Assembly on Saturday evening after the impeachment motion passed, with the crowd singing as fireworks broke out overhead. Now, Yoon has vowed to fight on and said he will never give up, describing the vote as a temporary pause to his presidency. And that's our wrap up the bulletin here on News Tonight on GHOne Television. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. Many thanks to my producers, Eko Boache, we see the day, and the Community Newsroom. Have a wonderful evening.